Alrighty, Sal. So here is the video for your lesson. I apologize again for not getting this out sooner. Unfortunately, the application that I usually use kind of decided to bug out on me, so there's no way I could use the application. But this application that I'm using is so much easier. So thankfully, I'll be able to get these out a lot sooner. And yeah, it's extremely cool. So here is kind of the lesson recap from this week, just kind of looking at, or actually the past week, just kind of looking at your mechanics side by side. You could pause the video here if you want to look at both of them, one of them, whatever you want to do, but here they are. Top one is your first throw of the lesson, and bottom one is your last throw of the lesson. Okay, so as you could probably see, very, very similar. We didn't really change much because, like you and Enzo, both of you are very, very good at this first step, the load here. Center of mass, or actually that's a really bad line. Center of mass, center of mass. Both extremely good there. So that's perfect. Now, one thing I am going to talk about right now is this right here. Now, this isn't necessarily something to be concerned about, at least right now, but this could come up in the future. If you find yourself, your timing's off, this might be the culprit. Whenever we're flailing it like this, that could lead to us flailing our entire bodies. If one thing flails, then everything flails. However, as you can see, as we see here, there, and then we look at the bottom here, it's the same thing. So nothing to be concerned about, at least right now. I honestly am okay with you doing it because it's something that's natural to you and you repeat it. So not a bad thing. Like, look at that. That is almost identical, if not identical. So not a big thing. The big thing we did work on with Sal was getting out front. We finish here in this one, and we finish way out here in this second one. So I wish, I'm kind of mad at myself that I did this. So, actually, terrible. We finish here, and then if I can, I know that's kind of really bad. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't show it, but just a picture, the top one is just, you see where kind of the skin is on the right there? That's where it is. The only reason I can't put the line there is because there's something on the side here that just doesn't allow me to go over to that area. But just picture that. The biggest thing is our release point. We're way more out front in this second one than we are in the first one. And that's going to help, of course, with getting down the mound and eventually velocity. Overall, it was really, really sound mechanics overall. Works down the mound extremely well, very repeatable, looks very, very solid, great arm action, and just getting over the front side here. Now, the thing I told Sal was I don't want to see the New Balance logo. So on this one, I want to just show amount of back I can see here versus amount of back I can see here. Of course, he's getting way more over that front side in the first one. Now, that was helped by doing the towel drill. And like I told Sal, the big thing about the towel drill is really getting out front and understanding where our acceleration point, or our go point rather, is, which is in front of us and not by our ear, which is what a lot of people tend to do. Really, his bullpen was extremely good. He really wants to continue to work downhill, which he does a really great job with overall. Now, the thing about him, just kind of like with Enzo, what I talked about, what's really going to help him, because honestly, this is a humongous thing that's going to help him with velocity, but the next thing that I'm going to work on him with is getting into his legs. Picture this as a chair. We want to sit down in this chair. He's starting to sit down and then rides it out kind of like how Enzo does. So we want to bring, I hope this makes sense. Let me actually clear all this and do this. We want to bring the butt to home plate here. As you can see, sorry about that. We're starting to, but then we don't. We don't really bring it to home plate. So we need to ride those hips out longer, because also another thing is by keeping this separation here and keeping ourselves closed off until, because look, what you're doing, Sal, if this makes any sense, before we even have this plant foot down, we're already opening up. To gain more velocity, we need to keep our shoulders closed until this point here. So our shoulders should still be closed right here rather than opening up already like this, if that makes any sense. Because the key thing to velocity is hip separation. So we're here, if we keep like this, so imagine this is all the same. Okay, here, let me actually do this. This is all the same here and until here. And then and only then is where we open up like this, okay? So hopefully that makes sense a little bit. Overall, not much else to really comment on because he does a really great job with his mechanics. The big thing we're going to still work on is getting downhill, getting over our front side, because that's kind of going to be the biggest thing to work with right now. He does a really good job of catapulting himself. The one thing I am going to kind of work with him about more is make sure we don't hinge this right leg here, rather than we're bringing it up and over, which he does, but then at the very last second, he hinges it over. So we'll work on that just a little bit. Like I said in Enzo's video, this next week will be the last week until I go out of town for a week, and then I'll be here till August 20th or 20-something whenever I go back to school. But that's currently what the situation is if you want to do lessons again. But overall, really, really strong lesson, Sal. Keep up the great work, and remember just about the towel drill if you really want to. I kind of showed them how to make the towel drill. If you really want me to, especially if Sal or Enzo want to know how to specifically make it, all you need is a t-shirt and a rubber band. So Sal, if you want me to show you step-by-step how to make that, message me separately, and I can show both of y'all how to do it. Super simple and really effective, and it's always great as a pitcher to keep that in your bag. And especially if you're bored in your room or whatever, you could just put a chair towards the other side and just work on getting out front with it. So that's one thing you could do. And of course, just remember, do your dry work in your mirror or wherever you can. But overall, really, really great job, Sal.